Is there a minimum number of email list recipients and online followers that publishers use to determine if a book will sell? Oh, this is a really good question. So the answer is yes and no. It also depends on what genre you're asking me about. So I wouldn't say that there is a minimum number of newsletter and social media followers that publishers are looking for, but I will say at any given time, they have an idea of what they're looking for. So when it comes to fiction, the most important thing when we're looking at fiction is going to be the book itself. The publishers are going to be like, okay, what's the hook? Is it something that we can sell to the retail buyer? And the retail buyer is that person who's buying books on behalf of Barnes and Noble, on behalf of Walmart, on behalf of Target and Indigo. So they're looking at the hook, the sales into the retail buyer, and then reader demand. So for fiction, whether or not you have a platform can matter because a publisher doesn't want to take on all debut authors. But if the book is good enough, it's not going to matter. So in the case of fiction, that's the yes and no question. If you have a big following, like let's say you're Kristen Ashley, Kennedy Ryan, Tessa Dare, Katie Robert, Vi Keeland, Aurora Rose Reynolds, like authors like that who have some sort of like well-known platform where readers are buying from them, then the publisher is going to be more interested in their pitch. If you're somebody who's a debut, your pitch needs to be like super tight, like really great. And because you don't have a platform yet. So they're going to be building the platform with you based on your book. Now, if you're a brand new author, sure, you can start a platform. If you don't have a book out, you can start a social media following, you can start a newsletter. I always encourage those things if you have the time for those. But you don't have readers yet. Like you don't have proven buyers, proven readers yet. So there is no minimum number, but they are going to be looking at what you've already been doing, whether or not you're engaging in social media. Are you starting to think about marketing? Like those things can matter. Okay. If you're writing nonfiction, on the other hand, so let's say you're writing a memoir. I've had a couple of questions about memoirs recently. Or if you're writing a self-help book or a prescriptive book is, think of it where it tells you how to do something, then the publisher is going to be looking at your platform because they're going to be answering the question. They're going to be looking for the answer to the question, why this topic? So when it comes to memoirs are really hard to sell. If you're somebody like Michelle and Barack Obama, yes, of course the publishers want your memoirs because you have that platform. People are interested in your story. People are invested in you. If you're somebody who like only your family has ever heard of, memoir is going to be a really tough sell because the publisher is going to be looking for some reason that people are going to want to read and hear about your story. And of course, your story is important to you and your family and friends, but it may not be as important to the rest of the world. So when you're writing something like a memoir, the publisher goes, well, what's the hook of this story? Like, what's interesting about this story? Why is it so unique that people will buy this, even though they've never heard of this person? So in that case, then yes, of course, your platform matters. If you're writing a self-help book or a prescriptive book, again, something that's like laying out how people should do something, your platform is going to matter. Your social media numbers are going to matter. And when we talk about them mattering, we're talking about thousands and tens of thousands of people, not just a couple of hundred or a couple thousand. It's really tens of thousands that they're looking for. They're looking for you're coming from a place of authority, like you've established your authority. So think of somebody who's like, remember Jillian Michaels? Jillian Michaels used to do The Biggest Loser TV show. And that created her platform. So now she's somebody that people want to read certain types of books from, diet books, exercise books, that type of thing. Now imagine your personal trainer from the gym thinks they have a really great framework for working out and they want to write a book. The publisher is going to look at that versus a book from Jillian Michael, and they're going to be wondering, why would people buy this book from a personal trainer at a local gym that they've never heard of? So that's where platform comes in for nonfiction. So the basic answer to is there a minimum number of email list recipients and online followers that publishers use to determine if a book will sell is, again, yes and no. It depends on the genre, it depends on who you are, and it depends on the book's hook and how excited the publisher is about it, how unique it is, and how well they think it can sell. Now, let me give you just a little bit of hope here. There have been times when people who with no platform come out with something that is very unique or interesting or something that is super topical or timely, and then platform doesn't matter as much. So it can be just about the book. And if you're in the situation where you feel like you don't have a big platform, then focus on the book, because that is the one thing that you can control, and you can make the difference there as to whether or not the publisher will pick it up.